The bright lights of the lunar construction dock slowly dimmed as the massive doors began to open. Captain Sarah Chen stood straight and tall on the observation deck, her dark uniform crisp and neat against the starlit background. Her heart beat faster as she watched history unfold before her eyes. 10 minutes until full dock clearance, Captain, announced Lieutenant Rodriguez from his station. His voice carried the same excitement that everyone felt in the room. The EVS Prometheus, humanity's first true interstellar battleship, was about to show itself to the universe. The ship was huge, nearly 2 kilometers long, with smooth, dark plates covering its hull that could absorb or deflect any known weapon. Its shape reminded Sarah of the ancient sea vessels that once ruled Earth's oceans, but this ship was built for a much bigger ocean, the endless sea of stars. Behind her, the command crew worked at their stations, each person checking and double-checking their systems. They were the best Earth had to offer, chosen from millions of candidates worldwide. Sarah remembered how her grandmother had cried when she learned her granddaughter would command humanity's greatest achievement. 8 minutes, Rodriguez called out. Sarah walked to the main viewport, her boots making soft. 3 weeks into its maiden voyage, the EBS Prometheus cruised through the darkness of deep space. Captain Sarah Chen sat in her command chair, reading reports from Earth, when the alert system suddenly came to life. Captain, Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice was tense. Multiple ships appearing at Mark 340. They're coming out of some kind of faster-than-light travel. Sarah straightened in her chair. This was the moment they had trained for. First contact with an alien species. "Show me," she ordered. The main screen lit up with the image of 5 ships emerging from bright flashes of light. They were strange-looking vessels, with curved purple hulls that reminded Sarah of sea creatures from Earth's deepest oceans. Each ship was smaller than the Prometheus, but moved with obvious grace and purpose. "They're scanning us, Captain," reported Officer Wong from the sensor station. "Their energy readings are unlike anything in our database." The alien ships spread out in a formation that Sarah recognized immediately. It was a combat pattern. Her heart beat faster, but her voice remained calm. "Shields up. Keep our weapons powered down. Let's not make the first wrong move." The crew worked quickly and quietly. Years of training kicked in as they prepared for whatever might happen next. Through the view screen, Sarah watched as the alien vessels completed their encirclement of the Prometheus. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Communications Officer Patel announced. "The computer is trying to translate. There, putting it on speakers." A harsh, clicking voice filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Zaxxilarian space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with immediate destruction." Sarah took a deep breath. This wasn't the friendly first contact humanity had hoped for. "Open a channel," she ordered. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Prometheus. We were unaware this was claimed space. We come in peace and will gladly." The Zaxxilarian ships didn't wait for her to finish. Green energy beams shot out from their vessels, striking the Prometheus's shields. The massive battleship shuddered slightly, but held firm. "Shields holding at 98%, reported the defense officer. "Their weapons are powerful, but nothing our systems can't handle." Sarah gripped her chair's arms. "Send a message on all frequencies. This is your final warning. We don't want to fight, but we will defend ourselves." The only response was another barrage of energy beams. This time, the Zaxxilarians added some kind of torpedo weapons to their attack. The Prometheus's advanced shields flickered with multiple colors as they absorbed and deflected the assault. "They're trying to disable our engines," Chief Engineer Patel reported through the comm system. "But their weapons aren't even scratching our outer defenses." Sarah watched as the alien ships moved in closer, probably thinking they had weakened the Earth vessel. She knew she had to make a decision that would affect humanity's relationship with alien civilizations for years to come. "Target their weapon systems only," she ordered. "Minimum power. Show them we could do more, but choose not to." The Prometheus is targeting computers locked onto the alien vessels. With surgical precision, the Earth ship fired short, controlled bursts of energy. The blue beams sliced through the Zaxxilarian shields like they weren't even there, disabling their weapon systems, but leaving the ships otherwise untouched. The alien vessels hung in space, suddenly helpless before the much larger Earth ship. The bridge crew held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. "New transmission coming in," Patil announced. The same clicking voice spoke again, but this time with a noticeable change in tone. "Earth vessel, we underestimated your capabilities. Our mistake is clear. No harm done to your ships or crews." Sarah responded firmly. "We disabled only your weapons. Fix them and return home. Tell your people that Earth wishes to be friends, but we will not be bullied." The Zaxxilarian ships slowly retreated, their engines glowing as they limped away. As soon as they were at a safe distance, they disappeared in flashes of light, returning to wherever they came from. "Send a full report to Earth Command," Sarah ordered. She knew this encounter would have consequences. Already, her tactical officer was reporting unusual energy signatures from nearby star systems. Other alien civilizations had been watching. The first contact between Earth and an alien species had turned into a show of force. As the Prometheus continued its mission, Sarah wondered how many other alien races had seen what happened, and more importantly, what they would do about it. Little did she know, across the galaxy, encrypted messages were already flying between alien worlds. The humans, dismissed until now as a primitive species, had just proved themselves to be far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. News traveled fast in the galaxy, even faster than the ships that carried it. 1 week after the encounter with the Zaxxilarian patrol, Captain Sarah Chen stood in her private quarters aboard the Prometheus, watching alien broadcasts that their communications team had managed to translate. "The humans have revealed their true nature," a Zaxxilarian news anchor declared, his scaled face showing clear signs of anger. "Their warship, disguised as an exploration vessel, attacked our peaceful patrol fleet without warning." Sarah shook her head at the lies. On another channel, a different alien species, the blue-skinned Vexarians, were showing computer models of the Prometheus, trying to guess its capabilities. Their estimates were wrong, but their fear was real. "Captain to the bridge immediately," her comm system buzzed. "Priority 1. When Sarah reached the bridge, she found her crew gathered around the main viewing screen. Lieutenant Rodriguez pointed to a series of light patterns moving across the display. "We're picking up thousands of transmissions, Captain. More than we've ever seen before." Officer Wong worked quickly at her station, translating the signals. "At least 7 different alien species are talking about us. They're calling for something called an Emergency Galactic Council session." The screen filled with images from various alien worlds. On one planet, crowds of tentacled beings waved signs with pictures of Earth crossed out. On another, tall crystalline creatures were loading weapons onto ships. The Zaxxilarians had done their work well. Their story of being attacked by the Prometheus was spreading quickly. "Ma'am," Communications Officer Patel called out, "Incoming message from Earth Command." The message appeared on Sarah's personal screen. Earth's leaders were worried. Their long-range sensors had detected unusual movement among the stars. Several alien fleets were changing their regular patrol routes. Some were moving closer to Earth's solar system. "They're afraid of us," Sarah said quietly, watching more alien news broadcasts. "All because we defended ourselves once." The bridge crew worked through the night, monitoring the growing crisis. They watched as the Zaxxilarians shared edited videos of their encounter with the Prometheus, carefully leaving out their own first attack. Other alien races began adding their own stories and rumors. The humans have been secretly building a fleet of these ships. Their weapon technology is centuries ahead of what they claimed. They plan to conquer the entire Orion Arm. Each hour brought new accusations, new fears, and new threats. Sarah ordered the Prometheus to maintain its current position, far from any known alien territories. They needed to avoid another incident that could make things worse. "Captain," Rodriguez called out suddenly, long-range sensors detecting multiple ships approaching from different directions. They're trying to surround us again, but these aren't Zaxxilarians. Sarah watched as the tactical display showed vessels from at least 4 different alien species moving toward their position. None of them were as large as the Prometheus, but together they formed a serious threat. "Message coming in," Patil announced. "It's being broadcast in multiple languages." A deep rumbling voice filled the bridge. "Earth vessel Prometheus, your presence has been deemed a threat to galactic peace. You will power down your systems and submit to inspection by our combined fleet. Failure to comply will be considered an act of war against all peaceful species of the Galactic Council." The crew looked to Sarah. Her decision now could affect not just the ship, but the future of human-alien relations. She thought carefully before responding. "This is Captain Chen. We understand your concerns, but surrounding our ship with weapons charged is not a peaceful action. We invite 2 unarmed representatives from each species to board the Prometheus for diplomatic talks. We will prove we are not the threat you believe us to be." There was a long silence. The alien ships held their positions, weapons still aimed at the Prometheus. Finally, the voice returned. "Your offer is unexpected. We will consider it." Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, the real Galactic Council was meeting, deciding Earth's fate. The Prometheus had become more than just a ship. It was now a symbol that threatened to change the balance of power in the galaxy. As she waited for the aliens' response, Sarah looked at her crew. They were ready for whatever came next, but she hoped it wouldn't be war. The next few hours would show whether humanity's first step into the galaxy would lead to understanding or conflict. The grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council sparkled like a field of stars. Located on a neutral space station deep in the heart of the galaxy, it was filled with representatives from 23 different alien species. None of them looked happy. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of the hall, feeling very small despite the Prometheus's impressive record. She was the first human to ever enter this ancient chamber, but this wasn't the welcoming ceremony Earth had hoped for. "The humans hide their true strength," shouted the Zaxxilarian representative, his scales flashing angry colors. "Their ship could have destroyed our entire patrol fleet, but they chose to toy with us instead." Sarah watched as different alien representatives took turns speaking. Some looked almost human, while others were completely different. Clouds of gas contained in special suits, crystal beings that chimed when they moved, and creatures that seemed to be made of pure light. "Captain Chen," spoke the council leader, a tall being with silver skin who introduced himself as Ambassador Xin. "Your ship's power troubles us. We monitored your encounter with the Zaxxilarians. How did Earth develop such advanced technology without our knowledge?" Before Sarah could answer, another voice rang out. "They must have stolen the technology. This came from a floating sphere that represented the Nexus Collective. No young species could develop such weapons on their own." Sarah took a deep breath. "Distinguished members of the council," she began, keeping her voice calm and clear. "Earth developed its technology through centuries of hard work and scientific discovery. We built the Prometheus not to threaten anyone, but to protect ourselves as we explore the galaxy." The chamber erupted in different alien languages as everyone tried to speak at once. Ambassador Xin raised all 4 of his arms for silence. "If what you say is true," Xin said, "then why did Earth choose to reveal itself with a warship? Why not send a vessel of peace?" "Because the galaxy can be dangerous," Sarah answered honestly. "Our history taught us that exploration and the ability to defend ourselves must go hand in hand." A gentle chiming filled the air as the crystal being spoke. "The human speaks wisdom. My people remember when we were young and defenseless. Many took advantage of us then." But the Zaxxilarian representative wasn't finished. He projected a hologram showing the Prometheus disabled their ships. "Look how easily they defeated our best weapons. They must be planning to conquer us all." Suddenly, an alarm sounded through the chamber. A young alien aide rushed in, their tentacles waving in excitement. Emergency. Our sensors detect multiple ships leaving the Krath Empire's space. They're moving toward the human solar system. The council chamber turned to chaos. The Krath Empire was known for shooting first and talking later. They weren't even part of the Galactic Council, but they were always looking for excuses to start fights. You see, the Zaxxilarian shouted. The Krath believe the humans must be stopped before they become too powerful. Sarah stepped forward. The Prometheus can defend Earth against the Krath Empire. But that's not what we want. We came here hoping to join the galactic community, not fight it. Ambassador Xin studied her carefully. Pretty words, Captain. But how can we trust you? Sarah pulled out a small device and placed it on the floor. It projected a hologram showing Earth's history, centuries of wars, but also great achievements in art, music, and science. It showed humans helping each other after disasters, exploring their own planet, and finally reaching for the stars. We made many mistakes as we grew, Sarah explained, but we learned from them. The Prometheus is powerful, yes, but its real strength is in showing that we can choose not to use that power, even when attacked. The chamber grew quiet as the aliens watched Earth's history unfold before them. Even the angry Zaxxilarian seemed thoughtful. But before anyone could speak again, another alarm blared. The Krath ships have increased speed, the aide announced. They'll reach Earth's solar system in less than 2 days. Ambassador Xin turned to Sarah. It seems, Captain, that you will have a chance to prove your words with actions. How will Earth respond to this threat? Sarah stood tall, knowing her answer would affect the future of human-alien relations forever. The real test was just beginning. The Prometheus raced through space at its highest speed, leaving the Galactic Council station behind. Captain Sarah Chen hadn't even had time to change out of her formal diplomatic uniform. Warning lights flashed across her bridge as the ship's sensors tracked the approaching Krath Empire fleet. Report, Sarah ordered, settling into her command chair. Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke quickly. 15 Krath warships heading straight for Earth, Captain. They're bigger than the Zaxxilarian ships we faced before. Heavy weapons on all of them. And they're not alone anymore, Officer Wong added. Our sensors show 5 more ships joining them. Different designs. Looks like some angry aliens want to help the Krath test Earth's strength. Sarah watched the tactical display as 20 dots moved toward her home. The Prometheus was fast, but the enemy ships had a head start. They would reach Earth's solar system first. Message from Earth Command. Communications Officer Patel announced. They're preparing orbital defenses, but he paused, his face worried. They say we're on our own. No other Earth ships are ready for deep space combat yet. Sarah nodded slowly. 1 ship against 20. The Prometheus was powerful, but these weren't scared Zaxxilarians anymore. These were experienced warships coming to prove a point. Engineering reports ready for combat. Captain. Chief Engineer Patel's voice came through the comm. All weapons and shields at maximum power. The bridge crew worked silently as the ship raced toward its meeting with the enemy fleet. Everyone knew what was at stake. If they failed, Earth would be defenseless. Multiple signals incoming, Rodriguez reported suddenly. The Krath fleet is sending us a message. A harsh voice filled the bridge. Earth vessel, this is Commander Vrak of the Krath Empire. Your species has hidden its true power from the galaxy. This deception cannot be allowed. Surrender now, or we will destroy your ship and then teach your entire planet a lesson about lying to its betters. Sarah stood up from her chair. This is Captain Chen. You are threatening a peaceful planet based on fear and lies. Turn back now. We don't want to fight you. Rough laughter answered her. You had no problem fighting the Zaxxilarians. Now face a real military force. The enemy fleet appeared on their main screen, their ships arranged in an attack formation. They were dark, angular vessels covered in weapon ports. Energy readings showed they were powering up everything they had. They're launching fighters, Wong reported. Hundreds of them. Small, fast attack craft. Sarah watched as swarms of tiny ships poured out of the larger vessels. The enemy wanted to overwhelm them with numbers. Time for a decision. All hands, battle stations, she ordered. But remember our mission. We're here to protect Earth, not destroy everyone who threatens us. The first wave of fighter craft reached them, firing energy beams and missiles. The Prometheus's shields lit up as they absorbed the attack. Shields holding at 95%, reported the defense officer. Their weapons are strong, but our technology is better. Target their weapons only. Sarah commanded. Show them what we can do, but also show them what we choose not to do. The Prometheus moved with surprising grace for such a large ship. Its advanced targeting systems picked out the weapons on the enemy fighters, disabling them with precise shots that left the pilots alive and their engines working. Disabled fighters floated helplessly in space as the main craft fleet approached. They fired everything they had: energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and some kind of green radiation weapon that none of the crew had seen before. The Prometheus's shields held firm. Sarah waited until the enemy fleet had exhausted their first wave of attacks. Now was the time to show them the truth. Target the flagship's main weapons, she ordered. One shot, full power. Let them see what we could do if we wanted to fight for real. A single beam of energy shot out from the Prometheus. It cut through the craft flagship's shields like they weren't even there, slicing off its main gun, but leaving the rest of the massive ship untouched. Complete silence filled space as both sides processed what had just happened. The Prometheus could have destroyed them all, but instead, it had simply taken away their ability to fight. This is your final warning. Sarah broadcast to the enemy fleet. Leave Earth's space now, and tell others what you saw here today. We don't want war, but we will not allow anyone to threaten our home. The true test wasn't if they could win the battle. It was showing the galaxy that they chose not to. 2 days after the battle with the craft fleet, Captain Sarah Chen stood once again in the Galactic Council chamber. But this time, the atmosphere was completely different. The angry shouts were gone, replaced by curious whispers and thoughtful silence. Ambassador Xin called the session to order, all 4 of his silver arms raised for attention. We have reviewed the full sensor recordings of the confrontation between the Earth ship Prometheus and the Krath Empire fleet, he announced. What we saw has changed many minds here. The chamber's main hologram displayed the battle. Everyone watched as the Prometheus disabled fighter after fighter without destroying a single one. They saw how the Earth ship absorbed the combined firepower of 20 warships without its shields failing. Most importantly, they saw how it chose to fire just once, merely removing the enemy's ability to fight instead of destroying them. The Krath Empire has been humbled, spoke the crystalline being, its voice chiming like bells. Their ships limp home, not as destroyed wrecks, but as witnesses to something new in our galaxy, power guided by wisdom. Sarah stepped forward to address the council. The Prometheus could have destroyed that fleet, but Earth doesn't want to be feared. We want to be understood. The Zaxxilarian representative, who had been so angry before, moved his scaled form forward. We may have judged too quickly, he admitted, his colors shifting to show embarrassment. When we first encountered your ship, we assumed any show of power meant a desire for conquest. We were wrong. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. The floating sphere of the Nexus Collective glowed brightly. Perhaps we can learn from the humans. They built their strength not to dominate, but to explore safely. This is wisdom we had forgotten. Ambassador Xin raised a hand. Captain Chen, we have received messages from 17 different worlds since your encounter with the craft fleet. They all say the same thing. They want to open diplomatic relations with Earth. Sarah smiled. Earth would be honored. We have much to learn from all of you, and hopefully something to teach as well. Suddenly, Officer Patel's voice came through Sarah's communicator. Captain, urgent news from the Prometheus. We're detecting unusual energy readings from, well, everywhere. The chamber's sensors confirmed it. All across the galaxy, Ships were powering down their weapons. The Krath Empire, embarrassed by their defeat, had retreated to their territory. The Zaxxlarians were calling back their attack fleets. Other species were sending out peace signals. "It seems," Ambassador Xin said with what looked like a smile, "that your demonstration of restraint has started a chain reaction. When one of the most powerful ships in the galaxy chooses peace over domination, others take notice." A new alien stepped forward, one Sarah hadn't seen before. It looked like a living shadow with stars twinkling inside it. For 10,000 years, it spoke in a whispered voice. "We have watched younger races grow. Always, they follow the same pattern. Build weapons, seek power, cause fear. But humans, you broke this pattern. You built power to prevent war, not to wage it." The chamber erupted in discussion. Ideas began flowing freely: cultural exchange programs, shared scientific research, trade agreements. The fear that had filled the room just days ago was replaced by excitement and curiosity. "There is one more thing," Ambassador Xin announced. "The Council has voted. Earth will be offered a permanent seat among us. Not because of the Prometheus's power, but because of how you chose to use it." Sarah looked around the chamber at all the different alien forms and shapes. Each one represented a civilization with thousands of years of history and knowledge. And now, humanity would learn from them all. "Thank you," she said simply. "Earth accepts, with hope for a peaceful future for all our peoples." As she spoke these words, across the galaxy, the news spread. The species that everyone had feared turned out to be the one that would teach them about peace. The day Earth's battleship brought fear to the galaxy had become the day that fear turned to understanding. But even as celebrations began on various worlds, Sarah knew their work was just beginning. The real challenge would be living up to the example they had set today. #The day Earth's battleship brought fear to the galaxy. #Part 7. A new era. 1 year had passed since the day the Prometheus first revealed itself to the galaxy. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Earth's new Galactic Embassy Station, watching ships from dozens of alien species come and go peacefully through the space around her home planet. The Prometheus floated nearby, no longer Earth's only advanced ship. 3 more vessels of similar design had joined the fleet, but they weren't called battleships anymore. They were now known as peacekeepers, their very presence helping to maintain stability in the galaxy. "Captain Chen," a young officer called out, "the anniversary ceremony is about to begin." Sarah nodded and walked to the station's main hall. The room was filled with representatives from over 30 alien species, many of whom had once feared Earth's power. Now they were here to celebrate the changes that had happened in just 1 year. Ambassador Xin stood at the center of the hall, his silver skin gleaming. 1 year ago, he began, a single ship changed the way our galaxy thought about power and peace. Today, we honor that moment and its lasting effects. The main screen showed images from the past year. Zaxxlarian scientists working together with human engineers, crystal beings teaching Earth children about space mathematics, human doctors helping to cure diseases on alien worlds. The Prometheus itself had spent more time on rescue missions and scientific expeditions than on military patrols. "The numbers speak clearly," announced the sphere of the Nexus Collective, glowing with bright colors. "Conflicts between species have decreased by 68%, trade has increased by 93%, and knowledge sharing has grown by over 200%. Sarah smiled as she remembered how different things had been just 1 year ago. The same aliens who had once surrounded the Prometheus with weapons were now sending their children to study on Earth. Even the Krath Empire had changed. After their failed attack, they had slowly started opening diplomatic channels. Last month, they had surprised everyone by asking Earth to help them rebuild their society into something more peaceful. "Captain Chen," Ambassador Xin called out, "please step forward." Sarah walked to the center of the hall. Behind her, through the giant windows, the Prometheus caught the light of Earth's sun, its hull shining bright. "You once told us that Earth built the Prometheus not to wage war, but to prevent it." Xin said. Many of us didn't believe you then. But actions speak louder than words, and Earth's actions over the past year have proven your sincerity. The Zaxxilarian representative stepped forward, his scales now showing peaceful blue colors. We once spread fear about Earth throughout the galaxy. Today we spread a different message. That true strength lies not in the weapons we build, but in choosing when not to use them. Sarah accepted a crystal award, a symbol of peace created by combining art styles from 20 different species. As she held it, she thought about how far they had come. The galaxy has entered a new era, she said to the gathered crowd. But this is just the beginning. Together, we can explore the universe, solve its mysteries, and help each other grow stronger, not through fear, but through friendship. Suddenly, Officer Patel's excited voice came through the station speakers. Captain, our deep space sensors have detected something incredible. There's a whole other galaxy trying to contact us. The hall burst into excited conversation. On the main screen, a signal from beyond their galaxy showed strange new ships and alien forms they had never seen before. Ambassador Xin turned to Sarah with all 4 arms spread wide. It seems the universe has more surprises for us. What do you say, Captain Chen? Should we answer their call? Sarah looked around the room at all the different species working together, then out at the Prometheus, the ship that had started it all. Yes, she said firmly. But this time, we'll make first contact together, as one united galaxy. The chamber erupted in cheers and sounds of approval in many alien languages. As Sarah watched the celebration, she thought about how one moment of choice, choosing peace over power, had changed not just Earth's future, but the future of an entire galaxy. The day Earth's battleship had brought fear to the galaxy had led to something greater than anyone could have imagined. A day when the galaxy found hope, unity, and the promise of even greater adventures to come.